gentlemen, welcome back to the Digital Den and welcome back to our coaches show. We are again joined by the legendary Coach Marksbury. And unfortunately, we don't get to start this off with celebration. For the first time in 3 years, Spencer County football has started season off 0-1. So we just want to open that up. Really, really fun game Saturday. Didn't go our way. So what are your thoughts on this Monday looking back at it?
Well, I mean, probably we played a really good team. Had a lot of seniors, had nine kids that came back from last year. And then later on I found out, too, that while we were there Saturday, that they had some COVID kids. So there's several kids that had an extra year. So and we have none. So it was definitely a game that we took a lot from. Absolutely 100% do not like losing, but I see the big picture, and that is going to set us up. Playing teams like that's going to set us up really good as we get into district play and everything like that. They were big, they were physical, and we learned a lot. And it's probably tough to say, but I feel like we gained more from that loss than we would have if we had played somebody we'd beaten 42-7 or 48-7 or whatever. Yeah. So it's we came out of it healthy, which is key, and we'll learn from it and make some adjustments and fix some things and move forward.
Yeah. You talk about that development, and the big one is the opening Brown Royalty Player of the game. Jarrett Stewart at quarterback had a phenomenal game. 7 of 17, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns. He actually had a QBR rating of 87.62, which would be higher than Kyler Murray, Justin Fields, and Derek Carr. So he's already an elite quarterback. Drew Barron had a huge game, and that's my guy. So I can't even say that enough. And then also, Tommy had a phenomenal game kicking the ball. Right. I think he did really good things. Right. What are you seeing from our young guys? Because we are young. What are you seeing in the locker room, how they're feeling this morning at weights? Like, what has their attitude been like coming out of Saturday?
Well, first of all, it's a big deal when you play on Saturday versus Friday, because our kids came in this morning and they were really sore from Saturday's game. So they're still getting the soreness worked out. So when they were in weightlifting this morning, that was one comment that a lot of them made, the extra day to recover and everything like that. Usually when they come in on Monday, the process has already begun. But no, Tommy was phenomenal. Punting the ball was, he was actually may have punted it a little bit too far. Our coverage team wasn't used to it. So, and kickoffs, and Drew made some plays, which we're not surprised. We've seen Drew make those in practice and everything like that. So we were excited. We were excited about that, and and also not surprised with Jarrett's accuracy is impeccable. We got to get some timing things worked out and everything like that. But I'm not surprised how he threw the ball, and I expect him to even be better next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go into Jarrett. If he had that game last year, it would have been our second highest passing yard game. A really, really good. But with all the good you do, he did have a play, goes through our receiver's hands, interception, goes back for a pick six. And being a first-year starter, being your first game, having that play, everybody around him is going to be building him up because he did play amazing. Right. Are you worried at all how he's going to handle that? Because he says in the post-game interview, I'm going to take that on me. And you love to hear that from a leader. But also, being his first year, as your head coach, what do you see in Jarrett's mental game?
Well, the first thing that happened was we had a really good first half, and I don't know his actual, but we were like 4 of 8 or 4 of 8 throwing the ball in the first half, and we looked really good. But then they made some adjustments, and their answer to us was just to bring pressure, and it just kind of made us a little bit uneasy in the second half, and it was hard for us to get any momentum. But look, that's what you want your leader to do. Your leader he tried to make a play. The ball goes through the receiver's hands. It ends up a pick six and everything like that. So, but look, he was trying to make a play, and there were some other things that there were some things he did really good, and there were some things that he wishes he had back. And there's calls that I wish I had back. So, but look, the great thing about it was he understands that, and he stands there and he takes it. And playing quarterback's not easy, because it's one of those things that when things go good, hey, everybody's patting you on the back, and then when some things go wrong, it can turn on you. But he's got really big shoulders, and he's very confident in himself. He's very confident in his teammates, and he'll grow from it. And I expect he'll be again. We're just scratching the surface as far as our offense because we have some weapons out there that we'll just keep building on top of it, and every week it'll get a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
we want to be more efficient throwing the ball. I think we were 7 out of 17. Yeah. We want to be 60% plus throwing the ball. So it'll be. We'll get
absolutely there. Like opening up. I mean, the bar being set where it's at is very exciting going forward. But on the rushing side of things, 108 yards. This would have been our lowest rushing yards game last year, and no rushing touchdowns, which has probably never happened.
No, it's been very rare
in Spencer County football history. So you mentioned very big guys, and it seemed like Kellen's space, especially in the second half, got smaller and smaller. So what were those adjustments, and what are we going to try and build on going this week and throughout the season?
Well, the first thing they have the box loaded up. Basically, when they started the game, there was 8 guys in the box, and we were outnumbered by 1. Usually, in the past, we could just make that through our schemes and all that stuff. We could counter that. But this week, it was just a combination of things. Their experience, their size, our inexperience on the offensive line, inexperience with some of our backs, and it kind of took us a while. We did have some good plays and everything like that, and the problem was I think there was a couple of plays where like Kellen lost 8 or 10 yards on because for whatever reason, and so you take that out. But yeah, and the number one thing, no matter at any level of football, no matter how you throw the ball, you have to be able to run the ball, and you just have to. It's turnovers and being able to run the ball are very important. So the other thing too was we don't want to panic because that was a really good defense,
right?
And 39 was 39 was a man.
Mm-hmm.
He was really getting after us. So, but we'll be fine. We'll grow, and the alignment of that 3-3 stack that they played, it's just always given us problems and everything like that. So, but we knew going in, we thought we could throw the ball on them, and we did do that until the second half when they started bringing pressure.
Yeah. Actually diving into the game, we started out and we got down early,
Mm-hmm.
And then we went on a exciting 19-0 run in the first half, and then quickly after gave up a big run but went into the half with the lead. What is a young locker room at halftime feeling like with the lead in the season opener? What was it like at halftime?
Well, we were kind of upset with ourselves because we felt like it should have been at worst 19-7 at halftime. That kickoff, honestly, was probably the biggest play of the game. We score. We score on the pass to Drew. Then we hold them. They punt. Kellen runs the punt back for a touchdown. Boom, they turn it over. We score again. And we have absolutely all the momentum. There's 5 minutes to go in the first half. Tommy hits a perfect kick, and it goes down into the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid's going to pick it up, and we're going to stop him inside the 10 with 5 minutes to go before halftime. Plus, then we're going to get the ball. And that would have changed the way they played. That would have changed their play calls. That would have changed everything. They were on the ropes, and we just had one little miscue. Got out of our lane. The kid gets the sideline, runs it out past midfield. Now they got all the juice. They got all the momentum. Then they score. Then we make a bad play, and it changed the whole entire game. And then next thing you know, they scored a couple of times, and now then, that didn't cost us the game, but they were on the ropes. Howard County was on the ropes. You could see it in their sidelines. You could see it, and we just one little play on the kickoff, and it just one of those things. It's football. It happens, and you got to be able. But one thing that happened too was their experience allowed them, once that happened, to capitalize on it, and then you could see our inexperience come into play because there were some things that we were calling, and we had some people that we were trying to get the ball to. We didn't get that were open that we didn't get it to. So it's a combination of things. But hey, it's football, and I was really proud of our team.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they more than held their own. That team I'll go out on a limb. I don't think they'll lose a game in the regular season. So it will probably be the best team they play. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to open up with that and get that experience right away. Instead of beating a team 47-0, like you said.
That's right. No, it is.
So you get a team like ourselves who, lose that game and kind of feel down on themselves at halftime. Mm-hmm. If you could go back and you could change the attitude, or if you could change the preparation going into that second half, what is going to be that change going forward in situations like that?
Well, we felt actually pretty good. We just had to, the mental breakdowns there that kind of let them back in it. We were more trying. It was not more. It wasn't really a schematic change at halftime. It was more just because you could just tell we had all the momentum and they just snatched it from us right in the second half. So what we were doing, we were actually trying to. It was more of a mental. It was a mental, fix at halftime, trying to get them to understand that basically they had just scored 2 touchdowns on us, and we had basically just given it to them, and it wasn't really anything they earned. It was just us kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. But we just tried to get them in the right frame of mind to go out because we were going to get the ball, and we did. Then we put a drive together to start the second half, and we drove down there. Then I think we turned it over on downs, and it was. And then from there, I think they score, or maybe we stop them. I don't know. And then the pick six, and that that kind of it was a struggle from there,
right.
Getting everything under control. So
right. So opening up on a Saturday is rough on the kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's also rough when you talk about atmosphere,
right?
Especially having to travel. I think the last 2 years we've opened up at home,
right?
But our fans showed out, and they showed up, packed the stands. What is just something you want to say? Like, over and over we talk about how good the fans are and all that, but reflecting on Saturday how they showed up, what does that make you feel?
No, I mean, it was great. The fans were great, and one of the reasons why they invited us to play in the bowl game was because they knew when you have bowl games, you want to make sure you have packed stands. So that's one reason they invited Spencer County to it, but they wanted to make sure that they had full stands and everything like that. And I think our parents more than and our students and the community and everybody more than showed out. I think our buses arrived at 3:30, 3:40, and there's people out there tailgating and everything like that. So that was a neat experience. And we're all of our sports are always going to have tremendous support. So that's it was great seeing and then also doing what Spencer County does. Our students clean their student section out and everything like that, and it's just the way we do things.
Mm-hmm. So just one final note. I mean, it's a 37-22 game, but
Mm-hmm.
that game was 1 to 3 plays away from
Right.
really being our game.
Right.
Just a final note, because everybody's going to talk about how well Jarrett plays. Everyone's going to talk about how phenomenal Drew is, and Nick Stowe, 14 tackles. Like, these are things everybody sees. But what's something as the coach that you see that either gives you confidence or that you got to fix that people outside looking in would not see?
Well, first of all, we were really probably one of the biggest concerns we had going in was that they were just because they were so much bigger, they were just going to be able to just run right at us and us not be able to stop it. But in Blanford, Jacob Biller, White Lockard, John Winstead, Jacob Blancett, Nick Keenan, Tanner, all those front 7 really, really performed very well. And after the first drive, they took the first drive, and you could tell they were changing they were just changing formations every time, and that stuff's hard to get used to because we weren't expecting it. We had never seen it, so our kids were just having to just base on their memory and everything like that of just hey, I know how to line up to every formation. So that's when they drove down and scored on us. But you could see after that, after we got our feet on the ground there from them changing all the form. After that, we stopped them. I think we made them punt consecutive series and everything like that. And so we kept them from running. And then all of a sudden they started getting on the edge on us a little bit, and we had some bad run fits there. But the thing about it is for people, they were not able to just manhandle us, and they were big. and they had a bunch of kids, so they were not able to just run it right down our throats, which is a positive. And from it, we've got to get some balance on. We've got to get some balance on offense. And when I say that, we've just got to distribute it. I mean, we can't have Kellen carrying it 15 times and catching this. I mean, he had like 26 touches, and he was really beat up and at that pace. I mean, he's just not going to be able to. It's going to wear him out. So we just in any sport, in anything, you have to have balance, and we're going to try to balance that. We just got to get some other kids some touches this week, and it'll make us more explosive. And we have a plan for that. And we're excited. We're excited for Friday.
Yeah.
I think we'll be much improved on Friday. But the other thing is it's a really difficult game. So.
Drew and Kellen were the only recipients of passes, so and that got everybody super excited. So just the thought of getting the Bradys and the Erics that you mentioned involved and all that, I think that's really exciting for everybody to see everybody.
Well, I think with Eric, what we had to do, this is the schematic portion of it, is we just had to keep him in to block so we could protect Jarrett, and that kept him from going out on pass routes. But it was the most important thing was a lot of times we only had 2-man routes. So we had 8 people protecting and 2 guys out on routes, and they still couldn't cover them. So that's a good sign. And they were tough to run the ball on, but I think hopefully now people are going to have to sit there and say, hey, are we going to drop and cover these athletes, or are we going to, if they do that, then our run, it'll give us some creases in our run game, and then you just got to play off of everything.
Yeah, a bunch of things.
Yeah. It's exciting.
And also exciting is Rivalry Week this Friday at Collins. I mean, this is just – these games, it doesn't even matter the sport. It is always an exciting time. So 2 very different teams. For the last 2 years, it's been kind of a scary thought going up against Kenyon Gooden. He does have a brother, but he's gone. And I believe, a younger team, Collins, compared to Hart County, who had those big seniors. So what is the difference, the biggest difference you expect between Hart and between Collins?
Well, Hart was similar to us on a little thing. They wanted to, actually they ran the same offense we did, except we just threw it more. Collins is big, but their offense is different. They try to spread you out. And, Cade Gooden is a freshman, and he's the one that makes them go, and so he's not, he's a freshman. So even though he is probably one of the most talented freshmen I've seen in a while on the field, he's still a freshman, and his brother last year was just so physically gifted. He was able to probably carry it a little bit more, just for the simple fact that he was more developed and more muscular. And Cade is really good. He can throw it. He can run it. They've got a ginormous offensive line that's just going to make us look like shrimps out there. But it's fine. It's always like that, and we'll be able to respond to it and everything like that. But it'll be a good game. We're excited. They're honoring their 2013 state championship team on Friday night, so that's they're having a party. So we'll should be exciting.
Go crash it. I hear you guys.
I didn't say that. You said that.
We'll quote you on it.
There you go.
Going from the season opener against an experienced team with our young team, now we go into our biggest rivalry game of the year, away, which expectedly a packed crowd, regardless of honoring that 2013 team. Are you worried at all when you think about how Jarrett handles that, when you think about our young guys? Where is your headspace at?
Yeah, no, I think we're fine. Look, that was yes. They understand. We traveled the other day, and the one thing, when I do say youth, and when I do say we're younger, it's not like they're freshmen. Most of them are juniors. We had a couple of sophomores play, so those kids have been around it. It's just they haven't started. So it's most of their minutes had been like, okay, we were up 42-0, and they got to come in and play. But this was their opportunity to have to come in, and Drew was one of those kids. He backed up Bryce. Bryce graduates, and then Drew pops onto the scene, and there you go. And that's how it works, and we expect that from other kids. And they always say the most in football, the most improvement is made from game 1 to game 2. So you got more film. You're basing your game plan and everything off of Hart County, off of scrimmages, and just like us, Hart County didn't show a lot in the scrimmage, but our kids played well to the scouting report last week, and they always stayed locked into what Hart was trying to do, and I think that's a positive thing. And they played hard, they kept competing, and I don't think the environment Friday will affect them. It actually should be really get them fired up.
Yeah,
and I'm
absolutely.
excited about that.
Is another thing. It's easy to get motivated when you got Collins coming up.
Right.
So you look back at these last 2 years of Collins games. They have been nail biters.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolutely amazing games. Last year it took a fumbled kickoff to push us over the edge. The year before that it took some key turnovers. So those are things that you can't draw up. But going into this game, what are the keys to victory that should make things go to plan? And again, it's going to be a crazy game. Anything can happen. But if you could draw it up perfectly, what are the keys to victory for Spencer County?
Well, the first thing is we got to make sure we keep our eyes on number 3, in Cade, and just make sure that we have, we know where he is, and they do have other kids that can make plays, but it's just kind of like us people, and Hart County definitely knew where Kellen was at all times, and we got to do a better job of getting him open. We've got to make sure, because as Cade goes, Collins is going to go. What we would try to do is to make some other, make them have to let other people run the ball and see if we can stop them, and we just got to be aware that they fake it to those guys, and then he'll pull it with linemen leading him and everything. But you just have to stay disciplined, because they're going to give you a lot of eye candy to kind of get you confused and get your eyes looking places that shouldn't be, and then Cade will end up making some runs. But it's that plus just we have to run the ball, because we threw it 17 times, and honestly, that's how many times we do want to throw it, somewhere around that in the 15 to 20. But what we have to do is the more successful we get running the ball, and we're going to make some adjustments that's going to help us run the ball. I think that I fully expect us to be able to run the ball most weeks, but once we get that stuff going, the passing game is even just going to open up more, and it's just it's providing us a little bit of balance.
Yeah.
And it helps the offensive line, because what happened, we couldn't run it the other day, and what happened was they were bringing pressure, which caused some issues on offensive line.
A head coach for 13 years, you've been through a lot of rivalry games.
Mm-hmm.
Is the week preparing for that, is it any different? Is the juice different with the team during practices? What do you expect this week of preparation to be like heading into Friday?
Well, it's good. We prepare really well. Our kids are really, really into the game, and you can watch us as the week goes along. Like today, we implement the game plan, and when we do, like tomorrow, they see it, and there's just little things that they might not recognize, and then Tuesday they might be a little rusty. Wednesday they're a little better. About Thursday, it's all just recognition. It's just, you have to know there's so many keys that you have to know, and if you can lock in on those things, it kind of gives you a heads up. But you just have to stay disciplined, and especially this week you have to stay disciplined, because if you're not, and you go chasing a running back and not follow your keys, Cade's going to come out the backside, and once he gets in space, he's going to be tough to tackle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Nick does a great job. Nick calls our defense, so he's really good at, understanding and seeing it and getting us lined up correctly and everything like that. So Nick's really, he's on it. He's on it as far as getting our defense lined up.
A similar question looking into Friday, who are some of the player names that you expect to have big days? More especially this Friday, who are some of those guys that you expect to have just really good games, whether it's matchup or whether it's just you have confidence in them? Who are some of those names?
Well, it's just like anything you play, you need your players to play, to make plays. So, of course, on offense, we need Drew to continue to make plays. We need Kellen to get his running game going a little bit better. It wasn't really his fault. He was doing everything he could. It just wasn't a lot of space to get through there. So I think one thing he did prove, at whatever he is, 137 pounds, he could take a hit. So he was getting rocked pretty good. But but we need to get him out and open, and we got some things that can do that. But it was just a combination of things the other day, because you don't ever want to go out there and just start calling plays and put your quarterback in a bad situation where they're just bringing pressure and they got their ears pinned back and they're just coming, and the next thing you know, you got your quarterback taking a bunch of hits he shouldn't be taking.
Right.
So those are just things that you just have to be leery of during the game, because we'd all like to just drop back and throw it every time and throw it to do this, but you have to have it in the back of your mind. You got to be able to protect your quarterback, and so we need Kellen to have a big game. We need Drew to have a big game. And, we got to have some other skill guys, Brady, Ethan Hampton, Danny, Brody. We got to have those guys step up, and they can. And, because there's no doubt they'll know where Drew is and Kellen is and all that stuff. And then on defense, we just need we don't need to give up big plays. I think if we can just keep everything in front of us and make them keep snapping the ball, we just don't want to let them throw over top of us or stay in our lanes and make sure, if Cade's going to get in open space and he's going to make some plays, we just got to make sure that a 10-yard run doesn't turn into a 30-yard run and a touchdown and everything like that. So, he's made plays against North Hardin and Shelby County and everything like that. So, he's very capable, and, we have all the respect in the world for him and their team. So.
Yeah. Well, there's really no need to encouragement for people to show up, but we do want to give you that chance to address the fans heading into Friday. What's that last message for them?
Oh yeah, look, it's a football game and everything, but these are those high school moments. These are the things that when you get later on, you're going to go back and look, hey, remember the Collins game or the basketball game or the soccer game. These are where the big crowds show up and everything, and the students, it's an experience. It's the high school experience overall, and hopefully everybody goes there, has a good time, and we represent our school community and, everybody in a positive manner that we always do, and hopefully we can have some success.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of storylines heading into Friday. It's a great time to be excited, great time to be a Bear. Thank you guys for tuning in again on the Digital Den to the Coach Marksbury Coaches Show. Really appreciate you coming out, man.
Thank you.
Good luck this Friday. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Digital Den, that's SCHS, and our YouTube. You're probably on it right now. So we really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and see you next week.
Good job, guys.